right, for anyone that watched part 2 of our Snake and Crane appreciation, then thanks very much. In this episode, part 3, we cover the following subjects. We go through all the box office comparisons for other Jackie Chan films around the same time. Jackie, when he went to seasonal film to shoot Snake and Eagle Shadow and Drunken Master for Yuen Woo-ping, and how that all came about. Jackie's post-Lo Wei success when he moved on and signed with Golden Harvest and made films like Young Master and Dragon Lord. Jackie's transition from traditional kung fu to modern day films like Police Story 1 and 2. And then the state of traditional kung fu films today and why they're nowhere near as good. We hope you enjoy it.
Please.
Yes.
I'm going to do some box office comparisons now.
Right.
So if you have a look, first one there, New Fist of Fury.
Right.
Basically $500,000 Hong Kong dollars. Shaolin Wood of Men, $500,000. Kill with Intrigue, 300,000 basically. Snake and Eagle Shadow, 2.7 million. So there's a big difference there, right? We've gone from basically 300,000 to 2.7 million. 2.7 million.
Yeah.
Snake and Crane Arts, which came straight afterwards.
Yeah.
Done all right. 662,000. Mag Bodyguards, 800,000. Drunken Master, 6.7 million. Spiritual Kung Fu, 2.3 million. Half-Life of Kung Fu, 1.5 million. Fearless Owner don't count really because it's not a Lo Wei film and he directed that one himself. Dragon Fist, that was the last Lo Wei film. That's 1 million. And then after that, you've got things like, that's when he left. After Dragon Fist, he left Lo Wei and he went on to, got signed to Golden Harvest, and that's when he did Young Master, Dragon Lord, Project A. And by the time we hit Police Story, we're on 26.6 million. And that I did that so you could sort of see the progression in the career and when it changed. So the obvious point there when it changed is Snake and Eagle Shadow, the difference. And we can discuss now what the reasons for that. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's what you've already alluded to and saying that Lo Wei pigeonholed him into trying to be the next Bruce Lee, I guess. We don't know. I can't ask him. Right? I'd like to ask the bloke, right? I can't ask the bloke. So it is a bit of speculation, but we can look at the films and think of the timing and who the bloke is and go, okay, it didn't work. Now, how did Snake and Eagle Shadow and Drunken Master come about? You probably know this anyway, but he was under contract. Jackie Chan was under contract with Lo Wei, and seasonal films, which was run by Ng Si-yung and Yuen Woo-ping, they were looking for their next, not really their next star. I think the words that I think I read once that Yuen Woo-ping said was he's looking for someone who was capable of performing and doing the things that he required them to do. In other words, who had the technical ability to do it. And he'd seen Chan, noticed him, and gone, right, he's under contract with Lo Wei. And I think Willie Chan might have organized this between Ng Si-yung, Yuen Woo-ping, and Lo Wei. And they went to Lo Wei and said to him, look, can we borrow this guy? And we know he's under contract, can we borrow him? And of course, Lo Wei went, well, you can borrow him, he's crap. He didn't make me no money. He doesn't make me no money. Take him. Yeah, he didn't see, he wasn't the gold mine that he thought he was going to be. So of course he went, take the guy. And of course, what happened after that? They took him, right? We got Snake and Eagle Shadow, and a little bit later we got Drunken Master. I mean, they're not just two of the best Chan films; they're just two of the best films ever.
Yeah, Snake and Eagle Shadow. Yeah, I watched that the other day. Yeah, that's amazing. The beggery chap, what's his surname? Is it Wong or something? I forget his first name.
Which one?
The guy that sort of plays the trampy guy. It's Snake and Eagle Shadow. It's the one where he catches the mosquitoes.
Yeah, his real name is
Yun Wong.
Yun Siu Tien. You mean the old beggar?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Simon Yun or Yun Siu Tien. That, the director of Snake and Eagle Shadow, Yuen Woo-ping.
Yeah.
Well, Yun Siu Tien, the old granddad bloke in it, that's his dad.
Oh, right.
Real dad. Hence the Yun Siu Tien, Yuen Woo-ping.
Yeah.
and a lot of the.
I got his name wrong there. I don't know. It's probably some weird translation.
Well, maybe you were talking about Huang Zhangli or Wang Zhangli, the Eagle Claw bloke.
Yeah, not sure.
But if we're talking about the old beggar, it's Simon Yun, Yin Xiu Tian, who also plays Sam Seed or Rebecca Sol Hut Yi in Drunken Master as well. That's the director of Drunken Master and Snake and Eagle Shadow's dad. How amazing is that?
Well, I'm glad I asked that because I didn't get that connection.
Good though, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
So good connection there, right? So those two films, I think that they were responsible for establishing Chan's career, if you like, just because people could then see what he was capable of. So, I mean, there was more Lo-Wei films after those films because Chan was still under contract with him. So, but eventually he got out of it. And when he got out of it, he signed to Golden Harvest. And I believe the first film he did outside of that was Young Master, which he directed.
Yeah. So you know that big jump in like the budget, you've gone up to 26 odd million Hong Kong dollars there. Is that because if you look at basically with Jackie Chan's sort of style of choreography, and you would have had to have these big elaborate scenes which involved, sets that the artists, the actors could, they're almost mixing with, do you know what I mean? Because that will all collapse, or Jackie Chan will hang off something that collapse or bounce or something else, and there'd be big, everything, and there'd be lots of the cast, everything has to be in sync. So, how many times you shooting that on real film? It's like big elaborate sets, and it's
if you think about it, he's getting more and more successful, and with success you get bigger backing, bigger budgets and stuff like that. And that's why you're seeing those big set pieces start to come in, cars going down the hill in Police Story and bus chase at the bottom and all that. That's only happening because of his previous success. So if I go back to the other films, so Young Master, when he went out on his own, that was $1 million. Dragon Lord, I love that film. 17 almost. Same here.
I think it might be on Betamax somewhere. Like I think because my dad mate used to have. Don't quote me on it. I'll have to have a look. But I'm pretty sure I had his Betamax because his dad did like a VHS and Betamax. What's it called? Rental thing. And when he finished it, he was basically getting rid of them all. I'm sure. Yeah, I've got Dragon Lord from him on VHS. Yeah, and I'm sure I've got it on Betamax, but I couldn't find it in the loft. But it could be in another box. I've got boxes of everything. So
I know.
But it's a classic film. Love it.
Exactly. Almost 18 million. So we're talking about now he's big time. Project A, 19 million, and as I just said to you, Police Story, 26.6 million. And that you can see the shift there, right? He's gone from the traditional martial arts. They've recognized the trends, because Dragon Lord and Young Master are traditional kung fu's, but they're quite different. They've got a lot of comedy elements. They do have big, massive stunts and stuff. The barn fight in Dragon Lord is pretty amazing. And then Project A, obviously, that's got loads of stunts, right? That one, I mean, that's just got stunts after stunts and fights after fights and whatever. Loads of amazing set pieces in that. And then Police Story, but that's when the early 80s, that's when the moderns started, the decline in the period traditional kung fu films, which I don't know, it's just changing audience tastes. They're not like me and you are still stuck in the past, and we still like those things, right? We still like those films, but those audiences in Hong Kong, because the films are obviously made primarily for that audience, they're changing. They're whatever it is, growing up, and new audiences, or they look at, I don't know, maybe they're watching Arnold Schwarzenegger films and stuff like that, and watching Hollywood films. So the Hong Kong industry changed with that. And so in the early 80s, that's when we started to get the Hong Kong cop thrillers and the modern day stuff. And to be honest, as long as it was brilliant blokes in it like Chan, they were amazing. Those moderns were amazing. It's just a shame that the traditional films went, because I loved them. They did eventually come back, but they came back with wires. If you remember, Once Upon a Time in China was probably the first real comeback traditional film, and it was quite good. But when they brought them back, it was wires and flying around, not as good. Whereas the ones we had back then was the true stunts and kung fu ground fighting, the stuff that we like, right? So traditional films have never been the same thing.
It's consumer led, isn't it? At the end of the day, they know that's what's bringing in the money. That's what's lucrative. They're going to follow that, but obviously in their hearts, they're going to have that die-hard mentality, and they're going to know that there's people from that trad era who appreciate and like that old way of cinema, or Hong Kong cinema, or anything associated in Asia, a certain style. But that was the niche thing back then, you know, and that would have been the time, you know, obviously you would have been getting into it slightly before me, but you influenced me into following it, you know, because you are ultimately why I got exposed to Jackie Chan and martial arts and pursued that interest, you know, and still do to this day. And only now I'm getting a bit more time to sort of scope it all out and regain all that knowledge, you know, because I've seen these films. But yeah, I want to sort of get back into it, you know. It's just, now's the right time in my life. I've got the freedom to do and pursue the passions and what I've liked in the past and how I want to move in the future, you know. So I'm loving it.
Right. You have other things, you know, life takes you on different paths.
Yeah.
You have other things to do, other things to deal with, other things to contend with. And you must put your energies into those at that time. And then, like you say, you get a bit older and then you get a little bit of that freedom back. It's always there. It's always that stuff is always there. You always like it. It's always there. You get the freedom back to, like you say, get back into it and stuff. And because you're older, you get a bit more deeper involved in it because your interest. Well, if anything, my interest has grown in it. It hasn't waned in the slightest. But as much as I love the traditional films, and I do, probably my favorites are the traditional kung fu films, you know, like Snake and Crane and whatnot. But if you look at Police Story, I mean, I love that film. It's amazing. There's still martial arts in it. It's just updated but not ruined. The soul is still there. You still see the soul is still there. He's using kickboxing. He's using fists. He ain't even no snake fist. He's using fists and kicks. But it's all there. It's all there. All the blocks and that are there. And then obviously he brought in the massive stunts. Massive stunts and the outtakes. And the singing the end songs and everything. I mean, look, it was amazing, right? He was obviously big time and he was making the most of it. So I think those modern day films are brilliant. I can see why the traditional films have gone, because if we look at, say, the current crop of Hong Kong actors, look what happened before, right? Yuen Woo-ping had a look around and went, this guy's good. He's got good kung fu. I can use him in this film Snake and Eagle's Shadow if the bloke will let me have him. If he had that same dilemma now, who's he asking? Well, he ain't asking Jackie Chan because he's a lot older. He's not capable now of doing that, right? He's not a young fella anymore. Who's he going to ask? He's got to ask a pop star, a non-martial artist. Back then, Chan had been in films just because we didn't see him until later. He'd been in films or in the background of films or doing stunt work and choreography for bucket years before he became the lead. He was in films. He was in the background of film. They all were, you know, Sammo Hung. They're all there working on films. We know their background. Peking opera, basically, the easiest way to explain that is clown school. Martial arts, tumbling, acrobatics, weaponry, the lot, right from a young age. So they come out of there with all these skills and they need a place to use them or somewhere where they can earn money for it. So they go into the film industry, but they're good enough to play the lead, but they've got the skill. It's martial arts first and acting later. The complete opposite to what we get in Hollywood films, right? We get a bloke who's an actor, but he can't fight. He probably has. He's a lot of the times they're not even don't even have the muscle. So, for example, you know, Hugh Jackman when he needs to play Wolverine, he's going to have to go and get on a personal trainer and get a personal chef and get down the gym and do this, that, and that, and this much protein and God knows what to look for the part. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's what
and a little bit of CGI enhancement on top of it as well, just to really bring it all out.
They train for 6 months or whatever for the role. These guys have had 10 years Peking opera experience, then loads of film experience already. They can do it. That's why he can all of a sudden be the star of a film. He's capable doing it all himself. You can't do that now. So you couldn't get a film like Snake and Crane now. Even if we want to go back and get all the costumes and all that, it won't look the same because you mentioned this earlier. It won't look the same because the qual will be too good, right? It won't look real. Back then, it looked like I was in that era, even though we know we weren't. It looked that way, and we'll lose that, and it won't just be the main bloke, all the crew. It'll be a director who's never done a kung fu film. It'll be a pop star who's never thrown a kick in his life.
Yeah,
and you take it, you know, you don't have the caliber.
You take it back there, you know, like with Sammo Hung and Yun Byul and then Jackie Chan and stuff, and they're coming through the Peking Opera School, and they've evolved, you know, within that circle. And like, you know, with Jackie Chan in the films and stuff, you know, like with lead roles and the big fight scenes, you know, he's choosing someone who has got the correct timing for the choreography and stuff, you know, like, I know, you know, even if you're taking like some tool, I forget the film now, I don't know if it was Gorgeous or it might even be, well, no, even like with Benny Urquidez, Benny the Jet, you know, in that fight scene in Police Story, you know, even then he's sort of got the right sort of stance and posture and height and the timing to sort of fight with Jackie.
The Benny the Jet films, you even mean Wheels on Mills or Dragons Forever?
No, it's Dragons Forever. What's the one where he's they're in the factory, the narcotic factory, and Sammo Hung's in it as well, and he gets injected.
Dragons Forever.
Yeah, Dragons Forever. Sorry, yeah. So, yeah. Sorry, like I said, my memory's a bit vague there, but yeah, you know, he's obviously these big fight scenes. He's not handpicked as well. Maybe handpicked, not because of Jackie Chan's capabilities, but just so what works on the screen comes across right. You know, the timing and well. And that's why you're getting that attention to detail. And as you say, these modern films and people with non-kung backgrounds are just doing it because they've got the right look and they've got a nice team following and they're going to make money at the box office.
Yeah,
but they haven't got, like, for a true, you know, an eye, you can see the difference, you know.
You look at their Instagram followers and go, yeah, we'll put him in a film. He's, like you say, got a massive social media following. And by the way, they're right, as in that will generate them money. But we, as people who have seen those films and these films, we can see the difference.
Yeah.
And the difference is the guys in it. They ain't got it. You know, it's, I'd say for me, Donnie Yen, he's sort of the last guy standing. I mean, he's getting old as well. He's still every now and then bringing out something that's pretty amazing. Other than that, you know, we've got to do what we said. We've got to go back and rewatch the same stuff. But speaking of picking the right people and the timing and this, that, and the other, it's Who Am I? That Jackie Chan film. I don't remember the name of the guy, but there's a European guy in it who's real at martial arts. They got him in because he's a genuine martial artist, but he's not a film performer. And I remember he was getting frustrated with him because he couldn't get the timings, and just what you mentioned.
Was that the one who was giving it all the kicks, like the tall guy, wasn't it?
Yeah. And he couldn't get the timing. So you'll see that in that fight, that guy gets doubled a lot by one of Chan's stuntmen. And it's because he don't have the time. He's got the martial arts, right? He's got the skill. He's definitely got the skill, right? But he doesn't have that flow, that timing that you said. Doesn't have it. Not for movies, you know.
No.
Good at martial arts, but then they go, well, I think he gave him lots of chances. I remember watching the outtakes to it or whatever, and then going, right, I'm done with this. Get this guy doing it. Put a wig on him, and he might be a little bit shorter, but
get
the film done, right? Yeah. So anyway, we'll move on. Sort of. I want to discuss the Lo-Wei films, the Lo-Wei era films. All right, thanks very much for watching. Now, if you want more Snake and Crane chats, in the next episode, part 4, we discuss the following topics: Jackie Chan films from the Lo-Wei era, why there are 2 spellings for Jackie Chan's name. We remember and have a quick chat about Shaolin Wooden Men. We discuss how the Lo-Wei era films show a different side to Jackie Chan. So thanks, and hopefully we'll see you for part 4.
Snake and Crane.